Let's talk about the Saints, Falcons, and Thursday night football. Last night, Matt Ryan had 3 interceptions, and it was just an ugly loss. And it brought my brain here. It made me think about who is Matt Ryan? How do we list Matt Ryan with other quarterbacks in the NFL? Is he one of the top quarterbacks? Is he one of the middle quarterbacks? Who does he compare to in the NFL? I came up with this. There are 4 tiers of quarterback in the NFL. There are 4 different levels, 4 different rankings, whatever you want to call it. There are 4 different tiers of quarterbacks in the NFL. The top tier is this. The top tier of quarterbacks can do more with less. They're like miracle workers. No matter what you put around these quarterbacks, these rare few, they can win a Super Bowl. A top tier quarterback, the best of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, can do more with less. Whatever you put around them, they can win a Super Bowl. The second tier of quarterbacks can still win a Super Bowl, but you have to invest a lot around them. You have to give them a really good team. If you give these guys a good team in the second tier, they can win you a Super Bowl. In the third tier, you have quarterbacks that no matter what you put around them, they will not win a Super Bowl, but they can win you games. They won't win a Super Bowl, but they can win you games in the NFL. And the fourth tier is quarterbacks that cannot even win you games. These quarterbacks are irrelevant. They don't start. They're backups or they're horrendous. They're like Brock Osweiler. There are only 3 quarterbacks in the top tier in the NFL. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady. No matter what you put around these 3 quarterbacks, you always will have a chance to win a Super Bowl simply because you have Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, or Russell Wilson on your team. That's enough. Those guys can win you Super Bowls almost by themselves. Not quite. I mean, look at Russell Wilson's stats. He has 29 of the Seahawks' 30 touchdowns this year. The dude can do everything. Those are very few. Those are few and far between. They're miracle workers. Now, if you go down to the third tier, so that's the first tier will win you a Super Bowl no matter what you put around them. The third tier is the guys that you can give them a great team, but they'll never get you over the hump. They can never, ever win a Super Bowl. They're not good enough. Those are guys like Alex Smith and Andy Dalton. I mean, let's be honest about Alex Smith. I believed in him. I wanted him to be successful. But right now, Alex Smith has the best roster in the NFL, and his team is 6-6. So Alex Smith, I'm out. I don't believe in you. You're now a third-tier quarterback that no matter what I put around you, Alex Smith cannot win a Super Bowl. So next Sunday, and maybe someday I'll do this. Maybe someday I will list where every quarterback fits. I'm not going to do that today. I'm not going to tell you where Ben Roethlisberger and Matthew Stafford fit. I'm just going to focus next on a couple quarterbacks who belong in the second tier. The second tier is quarterbacks who can win a Super Bowl, but they need a lot of help in order to do it. You need to give these guys a really good roster, and if you do that, they can win you a Super Bowl. Guys like Case Keenum, Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, Joe Flacco did it. And let's be honest here. Both Drew Brees and Matt Ryan are now tier 2 quarterbacks. Unless you give them a great team, they cannot win a Super Bowl. First, let's talk about Drew Brees. Where has Drew Brees been the last couple of years? He went to the Super Bowl in 2009. It was awesome. He had a great defense. He had good receivers. And since then, he dropped off a cliff. Now this year, you give him a good defense. You give him a good running back. Drew Brees is back at the top. I love Drew Brees. He was my favorite quarterback for years, and he still is my favorite quarterback. But you can't deny he was absent for years when he didn't have a great roster. Drew Brees is not a top-tier quarterback because he needs a good roster around him to win, which is fine. That's not unreasonable. I played quarterback. I wasn't going to win you games with bad players. I needed good players around me to win. It's not really that much of an indictment because, again, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, those miracle workers that can win with nothing, that's once in a generation. That never happens. But let's be honest about Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is also a second-tier quarterback. He's not up there with Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers. Matt Ryan is a tier 2 quarterback. You need to give Matt Ryan a lot of help if you want him to win a Super Bowl. I mean, we saw last night. Why did the Falcons win the game against the Saints last night? The Falcons' defense stepped up at the end and made a big play. Matt Ryan played awful, but his defense won him the game. Matt Ryan and Drew Brees are both second-tier quarterbacks. You need good teams around them if you want them to ever win a Super Bowl. And that shouldn't be very controversial. I know it is People in Georgia currently are really mad at me because I said that, Jacob Eason should transfer from Georgia. I'm literally getting death threats, by the way. It's kind of funny. I think it's I don't want to say cool. That's not quite the approach I want to be, but it does show that what I'm saying is very polarizing and challenging people's beliefs, which I like that. I think that's pretty cool.